My name is Colin Austin, and I've made this video for older school kids and young adults. As you can see, I'm an oldie, and us oldies have really screwed it up for you youngsters. But we do die, taking all our wrong paradigms and prejudices with us, leaving the field wide open for you youngsters to think good. But please learn from what we have done wrong. All the videos in this series are about how to think good and manage technology for our benefit. People may tell you that things are just getting better and better with new smartphones, with super duper features and really clever apps. But in truth, things are getting real bad. We have lied a lot and pretended it's just alternative facts, but in truth, we have really made a bit of a mess of things. Just turn on the news. It will start with COVID. Now, us oldest did not create COVID, but we certainly created the conditions which enabled it to spread like wildfire. This idea of enabling conditions which allow bad things to easily spread is one you should put in your good thinking notebook. And talking of wildfire, there is climate change. Now that really is our fault. We have known the science for over 100 years and just pretended that a magic fairy would appear and just make it go away. Then there are all those refugees fleeing persecution or starvation. That is because we are narrow-minded and fight for power and money. But the biggest goof we've made is with food. We have been destroying the topsoil at an alarming rate. So we have now exhausted the soil, lacking the essential minerals and biology for your health. So you'll get fat and sick and die young, while just leaving it for you to fix up. Terrible. Sorry is not enough, but at least I can explain how we stuffed it up so bad. So hopefully you can fix it. So best of luck. I'll make a new video every week, so you can go and check out a full list of my videos and articles on my website, biota.com. The planet is not under threat. It has been wobbling around the sun for some 4 billion years, and will be wobbling around the sun for another 4 billion years. It is us humans who are under threat, so we need to make sure that we are thinking good. After a talk I gave in Japan, a guy came up to me and asked me how I thought about something or other. At first, I thought he just meant, what did I think? But no, he knew exactly what he was asking. How did I think about it? What was the thought process? And that is really important as we face our troubled future. How we think is important. There's little doubt that us humans will be around for a long time yet. But equally, there is no doubt that we cannot keep on exploiting the earth and each other like we have in the past. The earth will simply not support exploitation indefinitely. We have the options of letting the laws of nature force the change on us, which would be pretty nasty, or we can be smart and think good so we manage the change well. We first became recognizable as modern humans some 200,000 years ago. We were hunter-gatherers and had no real impact on the earth. The climate change deniers are right about one thing. Climate has been changing. At first it was really hot, about the temperature of boiling water. Then we had a series of cycles, going from ice covering much of the surface of the earth to the poles being a pleasant place for a holiday, if you didn't mind sharing the hotel with a couple of not-so-friendly dinosaurs. Some of our ancestors survived by moving about, in fact vast distances, so we covered much of the earth. This was not some great foresight. Those that stayed put died. Some of those who walked in the right direction survived. We did virtually no harm to the planet, but we needed a big area to feed our minuscule population. But we got quite good at breeding. We rather liked sex, and before long, well actually a few thousand years, there were lots of us. So we developed agriculture, probably because agriculture was the only way of feeding the ever-increasing population who started to live in the city-states. This was a good news, bad news event. We could feed a lot more people, but we developed a class system with a few powerful rulers who looked after food distribution, invented taxes and an army to defend the city-states. The ruling class was only about 2% of the population, and many rulers were good people who worked hard to make sure that their city-state worked fine and the people were treated well and got a fair share of the food. Other rulers were just interested in power and money and didn't care about the other 90%, which was not fun if you were in that 98%. But at least the 98% of the population who worked on the farms did little harm to the planet. Until we made two major innovations, which were good and bad. No, don't get me wrong, I'm an innovator. I was selected as among the top 100 innovators in Australia. There are some 8 billion people on Earth. We simply could not live without technology. There's no way we can go back to wandering around the Earth, finding a bit of food here and there. That can only support the few 100,000 people that existed way back then. All these videos are about innovation and how we should learn to manage them. We need technology, but we need to make sure it works for our benefit. Yes, I admit it. I'm a bit fanatical, arguing that innovation should benefit the community as a whole, and not just a few. Taming the ox and the invention of the plough were the two innovations that started the process of damaging the earth, or more correctly us. The ox has the power of 7 men, so it could really start churning up the soil and killing the beneficial biology which makes dirt into soil. You don't think taming a wild ox that will happily pull your plough all day is a real innovation in comparison with a smartphone? Just try it and see how you go. And if that was not quite enough, we also invented irrigation, which in many regions saturated the soil with salt to make sure it was totally damaged. The idea that the early stages of agriculture were a happy party of villagers living in harmony with nature is just dead wrong. One by one, those early agricultural civilizations collapsed after a few hundred years, with the possible exception of Egypt and the Nile, which took a lot longer. Soil is an enabling technology. It does not cause civilization. Destroy the soil, no food, and the civilization collapses. This did not matter too much, as there were plenty of land where new civilization could form and replace the older civilizations as they collapsed. So, us humans sort of prospered. Stuff up a bit of land, then just move on. That was the formula then, and we still use the same formula now. Problem is, we have used up all the land. And that's the story for my next video.